Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Welcome everybody to the Dukes of Gaming podcast. How is everybody doing today?
Good.
Good.
Peachy.
Good.
I'm cold. I'm cold, but I'm good. It's been a good week for me. I am the Duke of Procrastination, Thomas. It's good to be here this week. Joining me is my fellow Dukes of Gaming. First off, we have the Duke of Nostalgia. How are you, Taylor?
I am doing great. I adopted a little cat. Her name's Juniper. I love her more than anything. That's how my week's been. So just getting used to her.
That's heartwarming.
You need to be careful. Kittens, they're cute, but once they turn fully cats, they just plain evil. So watch.
I say kitten. She's just a small cat. She's 2 years old, but she's very small.
So she's already plotting your death. Got it.
But she's she'll figure it out.
I'll pray for you. It's
Angel
fine.
and a demon at the same time. And of course, we have the Duke of Rocket League. How are you, Cole?
Good. I'm waiting on the snow, which is gonna not show up. It never does in Georgia, but I'm sure you guys will get enough in the Northeast for all of us.
Yeah.
Hopefully less than usual, but who knows? Of course, in the West, we have the Duke of Design. How are you, Ben?
Good. Coming to you from the Old West. I was listening to old episodes or our prior episodes of this podcast this past week. And on our New Year's episode, Thomas, you said that you were going to have an update to your Duke name, and then you never updated us. I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit.
Yeah, put him on the spot. Let's hear it.
Did you just decide not to update it? If so, that's fine.
No,
I want to update it. You got to do it.
I have made the decision. I've just been procrastinating.
Right.
So I am abandoning the Duke of Procrastination because I plan to not be as procrastinistic this year. So instead, this year, I'm going to be focused on a lot of anime. And so because of that, my new name is the Duke of Anime. So get used to it. There's going to be some warming up period. So if you all say procrastination on accident, it's all good. But just, kind of get used to it because that's the paradigm shift for this year.
Nice. Oh, well, okay. Well, a toast to the newly minted Duke of Anime. Hear
ye. I don't have a glass, but
in spirit, it's all good.
I wasn't ready.
It's all good. Appreciate it.
The first Duke to change his name.
School.
One of many, hopefully. Hopefully it kind of just shifts throughout throughout our time.
God, you know what? I would love. This reminds me, if we ever get big and can afford a set, I want it to be a big Viking dining hall. We're all sitting up there on the big table at the back. We got big grog filled steins. We just slam them down.
Yeah. Christmas we have these huge massive trees with garland draped everywhere.
Amazing. It'd be amazing.
Incredible.
If we can just get it, what is it? An earl? The guy that decrees things? Is that what
Duke of Earl? An earl makes you a duke.
Okay, well we need one of those.
You talking about a sire?
We need a duke, or we need an earl, and we need a sire. We need the guy with the trumpet. The trumpet. He declares, "By decree, this is the new decree." That guy. I feel like I should know.
Yeah, I think that's an earl.
Alfredo, the chat says Alfredo should be the Duke of Kingdom Hearts, and I agree.
Well, yeah.
But are you still playing Fire Emblem? Because that's where it came from.
Let's not talk about that. I will be soon, actually, because it will come up later today. So,
and of course, introducing
Town Crier. Alfredo. Our chat has told us to Town Crier.
Town Crier, yes.
You're right.
That's what we need. And hello, yes, I'm doing great. I saw the new Scream movie, my first Scream movie in the movie theaters. Oh my God. What an experience.
I heard it was great.
It was great. I enjoyed it a lot.
Never seen Scream.
I literally binge watched all of the Scream movies this Halloween. Never saw any of them until
they're like 5 of them, right?
This is the 5th one.
Okay.
But yeah.
The first one was awesome.
Very, very.
I heard great things.
Honestly, probably the only franchise besides maybe Harry Potter where none of them have been bad. Like there's 5 of them, but none of them have been bad, which is a feat in and of itself, I feel
That's
like.
honestly a really true statement. There are no bad Harry Potter movies. There's some that are better than others,
Mhm.
but no
But you
bad
can't.
ones.
None of them were train wrecks. Same for Scream.
So I remember the first Scream. Everybody was shocked because everyone thought not Halle Berry, Drew Barrymore. Drew
Ah.
Barrymore was in the opening scene,
She was great.
and like everyone thought she was gonna be a main character of the movie. But they pulled like a Metal Gear Solid on the audience, where like they killed her in the opening scene, and people are like, "What?"
Solid
the-
Berry.
Everybody's
Solid
mind was
Berry.
blown, and then that's when they showed the title card right after she dies, or after her parents find her, or whatever.
That's
It was
hilarious.
unbelievable.
That's
At the time, it was incredible.
Everyone sees Scream. Great movie
Yeah.
franchise.
Fair enough. But let's get back to video games.
Gaming.
We're the Dukes of Gaming. Let's see. You know what, Alfredo? What have you been playing?
Oh, I was not prepared to go so fast.
I know that's what I called you.
Because I have a little prop that I'm trying to set up at the moment as well. So I've been playing a lot of different things because I've been dabbling with Xbox Cloud Gaming. So I've been playing that as well as the new Final Fantasy VII First Soldier mobile game. So it's been a lot of mobile gaming for me this week. And it's actually because I got for Christmas this thing, which is called a Razer Kishi, which is essentially a phone controller that you can just plug in your phone to and play anything you want in it using a controller instead of having to set up anything Bluetooth controller, any of that. Nope. Everything is just right in the middle, super easy to play.
Nice.
So I've been kind of testing it out. So for Xbox Cloud Gaming, I think a couple months back, they finally launched it in beta for Android, which is what I have, and iOS. So I ended up getting like a really, really old iPad in order to test it out because I wanted to play games on the go. And this was before I even had an Xbox Series S too. So I wanted to be able to play all of those games without having to open up my gaming PC, anything of that like that. So got an iPad. It ran everything I tried ran horribly. The latency was so incredibly bad. I just was like, well, I guess this is a failed experiment. Xbox Cloud Gaming isn't ready. Either that or just my old iPad can't take it. Either way, I wasn't ready for it. So I was pretty much ready for that same experience with just my mobile phone and the Razer Kishi. But to my surprise, the latency is almost zero, honestly, with this with my mobile phone. My phone is a newer phone, so I'm not sure if that has to do with it. I'm sure it does a little bit, but for Xbox Cloud Gaming, just being able to stream various games on your phone and having it just work without you having to take up space, it's kind of a game changer because I have all these games on my Series X now, or my Series S, and I can just play them on my phone. Lower fidelity, it definitely does not look as great, but it's pretty amazing because I can just take my phone out of my pocket, grab this controller thing, and play all the games with very little latency. So I've been having a ball playing things like Streets of Rage 4, Dragon Quest, Battletoads, just random Xbox Game Pass games on my phone. But all that said, the first game that I tried when I first got this little controller was the new Final Fantasy Battle Royale game, which is called Final Fantasy VII First Soldier. So this came out in November, I believe, but I just started to try it. And the trailer first came out actually during E3, all the way back in like June and July. And it looked good. I was surprised because I'm not a battle royale person, but I am a big time Final Fantasy person. So I was like, I'm definitely going to try this when it comes out. So with this controller, I hopped into it, and it is so much fun. I do not like battle royales. I don't like Fortnite. I tried like the Harry Potter-ish one where you're like a sorcerer, but that one was pretty fun, but I didn't get too much into it. This one is all about Final Fantasy. So you have your chocobos, you have different classes. You can be a mage, you can be a ninja, you have just different special abilities related to those classes. And it just really gives you that Final Fantasy feel that just makes you want to play over and over and over again. So especially with the controller, I'm really enjoying it. Without it, just on a mobile phone, I probably would not play it, but having the controller really does make a big difference to the point where I'm playing this game a lot. And I think anybody who likes battle royales should at least give it a shot. It's free, it's fun. I think it adds a little something new to battle royales, which is the class system that they have. So yeah, definitely check it out. I'm having
And-
a lot of fun with it.
And you said, and forgive me if I'm right, you said you could be a chocobo.
You can't be a chocobo. They have chocobos in it, so you can
Don't get the
summon
game.
chocobos.
Don't play the game until they allow you to play as a chocobo.
You can, yeah. Honestly, you can't even. You can put on the costumes if you want to be Cloud. You can put on that costume. I'm sure later on they'll have a chocobo outfit
Yeah,
that you can
it'll-
buy, maybe. But you can summon different summons. You can be Ifrit. You can summon Shiva. You can do all that. You got materia. It's great.
I can't believe this is real. Like, I had no idea this existed. I don't know how I missed this.
Yeah,
I've seen it on the
and
App
I'm looking
Store,
at
but I didn't know
footage
what
of
it was.
This is absurd. It's like a. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. But if you're a Final Fantasy fan, for sure, check
No,
it out. Or
it's
just a
cool.
battle royale fan. The only thing is like, I'm kind of mad it's only on mobile right now because I do want to play it on my big screen. I do want to play it on my 4K TV, on my PS5, and all of that because I think it would. It has potential to be big, but it's only available on mobile right now, and I really don't know, as far as battle royales, how many people want to play those on their mobile devices. So hopefully eventually there's rumors that they're talking about PC and console ports, but who knows when that'll come out.
Well, cool. Honestly, like, the cloud gaming to me has been kind of iffy because you can play stuff like Dragon Quest, you can play stuff like Streets of Rage, stuff that's like not super performance heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But once you like, I tried to play like Halo on it one day, just like maybe I can play a game, and I got massacred online. It was a shame. It was because it wasn't performing well. It was a lot of latency, so when it comes to those type of first person shooters, any type of shooter, any type of third person gameplay, it doesn't perform as well. But if you're playing like an RPG, if you're doing like something kind of slight, I think it's a great tool. I think it's really good.
Yeah,
I think it honestly is a little revolutionary.
Oh, for sure. I thought that Dragon Quest would be a good indicator because I was only playing indie games like Streets of Rage, Hades, stuff like that. And then I tried Dragon Age or Dragon Quest because it is, that's like at least a 30 gig game, I want to say.
Right.
So I thought it would be a pretty good indication. And it plays perfectly on my phone. There's, it, like I said before, it doesn't look great like it would on a console or anything like that. But like you said, I think it's pretty revolutionary, honestly.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, hopefully you continue to explore more cloud gaming because there's a lot of games on Game Pass to try. So,
yep.
All right, now let's move to Ben. What have you been playing this week?
It's weird because I've also been having an experience with game streaming this week. I've continued to play 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I'm like 30 minutes away from the end. I'm so annoyed that I didn't finish it in time for this podcast. This game is really good. It's really, really good. And Thomas and Alfredo, you guys got to play this game for sure. Especially Duke of Anime there.
I might play it this week.
Yeah, this is an interactive sci-fi anime for sure.
And it's tactical. This is a tactics game, essentially, right?
I mean, so the game is part adventure game, part turn-based tactics. Yeah.
Okay.
Combat. But if you just want to focus on the story, you can crank it down to casual and play the battles all super easy. I ended up doing that just because I wanted to finish it quicker. And there's actually no trophy requirement to do it on the higher difficulties either.
Oh, great.
But not that I care about that because I'm not going to get any platinum this year, which I said last week. But
so you're basically going through these games and like purposefully leaving one trophy open.
there are very few games where you stumble over the platinum. Really, Telltale was like the only studio that did that with that made games that are worth playing. So anyway, so with 13 Sentinels, like I am about like 30 hours in, and there's so many twists and turns in this game. Like almost all of the characters are awesome and super likable, and you get a lot of time with them. And then when you've got like the battle chatter in between combat missions, and it's super engaging. My critiques of this game are like things that I think they could have done better to bolster the experience, but none of them really hamper it per se. They're just not. They could have been better. And one of those things is that I feel like they should have interspersed the battles within the gameplay. Like as it is right now, you basically choose when you want to do battles or choose when you want to go after story stuff. And I think they should have just intertwined it a little bit more. There are times when you can't continue a given character's story because you choose which character's story you want to pursue, and then you play that character's story up to a point, and then it stops you from playing it anymore until you meet some requirement, like playing another character's story to a certain amount, or playing some of the battles and clearing a certain number of the battles, so that you're like never too far ahead with one character and like too far behind with everything else. It keeps everything sort of at the same general area.
It sounds very Persona.
It is
in the balancing of the the dungeons with the more social aspect.
Yeah, it's not. It's to describe it, I certainly see where the Persona comparison comes in, but it is so much less an RPG than Persona is, and those things, the battle system and the adventure game side of it they really feel separate in a way that Persona, they feel like they're one and the same thing.
Right.
So yeah, but I get that. And like the other thing is you're playing as each of the 13 characters when you're pursuing their stories. And they like the stories intertwine with one another, and like everything is all twisted and topsy-turvy, and it's like there's so many twists throughout the story it just keeps you guessing constantly. But yeah, so I wish they had like married the battle system with the more impactful and interesting story a little better. And then I also wish they do this thing where they kind of present like a decision tree every time you're in one of these story missions. It's like a decision tree that suggests like you can make choices that lead to certain outcomes, much like the way that they surface a decision tree in something like a Quantic Dream game, or in what is the name of the
Supermassive?
No, well, yeah, I think I'm specifically thinking of the decision tree. So like Virtue's Last Reward, what are those? Zero's Game. Zero's Game. Yeah, where like they're expecting you to like use the decision tree as a game mechanic, so that you like pursue different alleyways, like find all the different outcomes.
This game has that?
The presentation suggests that it has that, but I wouldn't really say that it does, because it most of the times these things still need to happen in a particular order.
Okay.
It just makes it seem like it's decision oriented.
Mm-hmm.
I think
so. It's kind of like Telltale, where they're like, your decisions matter. Wink, wink.
Except
they don't.
It's weirder because Telltale doesn't show you the decision tree.
Mm-hmm.
Telltale doesn't try to make that a mechanic, whereas 13 Sentinels does, and I think it suggests more than it's actually offering there, which was weird. I feel like they should have just not included the decision tree at all, and the game would have been better for it. But aside from that, like I said, the story is really interesting, and the characters are all good for the most part, and it's fun to see them interact. So yeah, if you're into anime, kaiju, robot stories, then definitely check it out. I'm sad I missed it when it came out, because it's definitely one of the more interesting games to come out in 2020. But yeah, that's what sorry, I didn't even tell you about the streaming aspect of it. So I've been playing this like almost exclusively on my phone, streaming it from my PS4.
Remote play.
And
Oh, cool.
yeah,
cool.
through remote play. There were a few games that I've done this with. I did this with the South Park game, Fractured Butthole, as well. Yes,
Greatest title ever.
And so I found that remote play works really well with kind of turn-based games and things that are nothing that is networked, nothing that is competitive, and nothing that is like requires any Twitch skill. Otherwise, it's like horrible to play remote play. But if it's something like 13 Sentinels or South Park where everything is turn-based, it is good. It's good. I mean, it pretty much just works the way it's supposed to. And even though there's a good bit of slowdown and occasional lag, and sometimes the game loses resolution, it's totally playable, and it's like much more convenient to just whip out my phone and connect real quick than have to dedicate some time to sit in front of the screen. So yeah, that's been my week.
Yeah, I literally have Streets of Rage on my PS4, but I'm like, I can just put it on. I can play it right now on a Switch handheld like console, so it's just so much easier, and it works.
I did the same thing with
So convenient.
to echo what you're saying. Final Fantasy 14. I played that on my Vita on remote play on PS4. I used to do that for Final Fantasy 14, which that was nice when you're just grinding and going through little quests and stuff. It was perfect.
Nice. Well, good. I plan on doing a lot more of that too, because getting through those RPGs probably does seem a lot more convenient on your phone. So yeah, good stuff. Good streaming. And of course, last but not least, 'cause me and Cole are going to skip our turns. We ain't playing anything this week. Taylor,
Curse you for focusing on your real life.
Unfortunately. But Taylor, what have you been playing this week?
I have joined the ranks. I'm the 4th out of 5 Dukes of Gaming to now play Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Welcome to hell.
Welcome
God,
to
I
hell.
guess I gotta play it.
Literally.
Wait, now when you say 4 out of 5, everyone's played this but me now?
I think so.
No, I haven't.
Ben
played it.
hasn't played it.
Oh,
play
I
it. That's what I was
swore
thinking.
Ben played it. I'm sorry. Well,
Ben has not been to hell yet,
Never
no.
mind. There's no ranking. I like it. I like it a lot.
It's a vibe, right?
It is. It sure is a vibe. I put it on and I played it, and I'm like, for the first 5-10 minutes, I'm sitting there like, these assholes liked this game. What the hell? Like this is. I was genuinely like, oh, this is as boring as Pokemon. This is so fucking boring. And pretty like the game tricks you. It's a good
Subverts
little,
your expectations,
it's
right?
a super good little trick. All like 10 minutes in, it's just here you are. You're in the apocalypse. There's demons. I was just like a schoolboy 5 seconds ago. What the fuck? No, it's and then it just sort of takes off. It just takes off. That said, I will say there are some things about Pokemon this game has made me like more. I was playing this game and I all of a sudden thought there are some mechanics that Pokemon has implemented, because we've talked a lot about comparing like Pokemon to like, good RPGs, where I think Pokemon's simplified it in such a way that makes it better. For example, I kind of don't care about any of my little demons as of right now. There's not.
That's fair.
There's not really.
It doesn't really change for a long time.
Yeah.
There's not really a connection between me and them. It just sort of is. You need them to beat the game. You need them to play.
Yeah, sacrifice them. You know.
Yeah.
It's like
Use them.
you don't form
Normally.
attachment. They're demons. Like, you know.
Yeah.
I
They
will
don't-
say
they don't
there's
give a fuck
one.
about you, and you don't give a fuck about them. You
There's
just-
one that I cared about. I was really sad when I had to sacrifice him.
He was 200 leveled.
Yeah, he was so good. Black Frost. I'll remember you. Anyway, continue.
Another thing is the level up system is wonky. It's a lot. There is a lot. At first I was a little overwhelmed. Like the first time I looked at it, I'm like, there's too many numbers on screen. There's too many level bars on screen. I'm like, this isn't exactly what I signed up for, but most of it doesn't matter, which is good. Most of it is just sort of like background noise. You can just press A and it'll take care of itself.
Mhm.
You can put a little bit of thought into it, sure, but it's not. You don't have to go all the way in with it to really get the most out of the game, I don't think, or at least I haven't so far. I've definitely put thought into it, but I don't think the average person would have to. Another thing is the map, Alfredo.
Uh-oh.
You're sitting there on your high horse, whinnying around like, "Oh, Metroid Dread has too confusing of a map. It's got It's got too many little icons on it. It's too small, and there's too many rooms, and you can't backtrack." I will cede the point that you can backtrack very effectively using these. Oh, and real quick, you can't save everywhere. Come on.
No.
It's
No,
the
this is the Dark
RPG.
Souls of RPGs, Clint.
What
You
is this?
can't just save
What is this?
anywhere.
1994?
Yes.
Come on.
Yes, you cannot
right.
do
It might
that.
as well be.
No. The first time I played this, the first time I turned this game on, I didn't save.
Ooh,
And then I died.
Ooh.
big mistake.
And I was like, is it worth it? Is it, because I thought it auto saved because it's fucking 2021.
It's a rite of passage for
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei games. It has to happen to you one time so you learn.
It happens to me multiple
It happened to
times,
me in Shin
honestly.
Megami Tensei 4.
Well, now I save every 5 seconds. Every time I collect an item, I run back and save.
Sometimes I
I'm
still
like-
don't, and I always get punished.
There always is a moment where I forget,
Mm-hmm.
and I've gotten like maybe 30 minutes in, and then I die, and I'm like, well, I'm not playing this for a week. Because it's like, it's just that feeling of, damn, I wasted 30 whole minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. That seems a little unfun to me, but I digress because the game is still fun and compelling and engaging. So the map, Alfredo,
Map is
way too much. There's too much shit going on it.
The map is good.
the map is fine. What's wrong with the map?
You know what though? I don't think you've unlocked everything you can do. I don't think, because once you start really being, because I don't think, have you unlocked the return pillar yet?
Yeah,
Not a clue what that is.
Okay.
yeah, that'll help a lot.
That makes everything way easier. You're supposed to suffer right now, and then as you get better, you get items that make it easier.
Yes, it's the rite of passage you walk through, and once you
everybody
make it
has
there,
to go through it. It doesn't start off easy. That's the thing about the game. It doesn't start off easy. It gets easier.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Then it gets hard again. You know what I'm saying? But it's ebbs and flows. Like
I got it.
There are moments
admit,
where you feel really strong and really dominant, and then the game like brings you back a peg. Like no,
I already feel strong and dominant. I don't
get
feel.
ready.
Get ready.
And
I'm
okay.
Unless you're grinding, unless you're like really like going throughout really,
I am grinding a bit, just because I like grind. Like I know that I need to grind. I like instinctively know that I need to grind.
Gotcha.
So I am grinding quite a bit at every opportunity I can. Because the map and because the AI is a little wonky, you never know when you're just going to get ambushed by a demon.
That's part of the charm.
That's part of the charm. I sneak past a bunch of demons. I don't hear the noise, the little beep noise that says, "Oh, they've spotted you." I'll smash a treasure chest, and then all of a sudden,
on the map.
But there's so many things to look at.
There's not that many things.
Okay. So I finish a battle. And I know one demon has seen me, and I've just beat it in battle. I just turn around and there's a demon right there, and it touches me, and I get blasted into battle, and I'm now 2-3 turns behind because it got the upper hand.
As soon as you're done with a battle, you gotta haul ass.
Yeah.
You can't. Sometimes, like if you hit one demon, because in some RPGs, if you hit one demon, it will kind of loop them all into the battle. This game doesn't do that. Or it's like you hit one demon, you fight, and then the other demon's still standing there.
Yes, but the game does, when you hit one demon, and let's say there's 2, it will halt. Like it'll give you like a solid 3-second head start. Like the demons will just stand there. They won't like keep rushing at you after you're done the battle. You can run away because they'll just stay there for like 3 seconds.
Except for those like semi-boss levels where you're at the place those red things, Alfredo. For like the things,
Oh yeah.
like
I don't
those
think
are
you could reach that,
consistent.
have
Those
you?
will continually hit you. So yeah, you just gotta haul ass.
Okay.
Yeah, you just gotta run.
I will say, so I'm being a little down on the game because there's some tiny things that have irked me, but ultimately it's very cool. It's a very cool game.
You like the music?
I love the music. Although it is starting to get repetitive. It is starting to grind on me.
You got to get out the area you're in.
I got to get the out. I realized that as soon as I got out of the city and I got into like the wide desert, I was like, okay, the music has changed a bit. The battle music changed. It's all unique music, but that's the same for any RPG. You play an RPG enough, the music just starts to grate on you. It's like, oh, every single time I enter a battle, it's it's come on. That gets on you, but ultimately, it's a very cool game. The setting is incredible. The dialogue is written by a third grader who has dropped on his head too many times. The dialogue is stupid. Oh my god!
It's very anime. It gets very anime.
It's bad. No, but it's bad anime dialogue.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's not like prime anime dialogue. Right?
Yeah, at least with Pokemon, I know it was written by a 3-year-old who was dropped on his head. This one, I assume, was written by adults.
Fair. That's fair.
Fair enough.
But so I'm saying a lot of negative things, even though I really like the
I
game.
haven't heard a positive.
I'm saying a lot of really negative things. Another negative thing is I probably wouldn't play this game with my girlfriend in the room, or my parents, or anyone really.
Why? I don't.
Because
I'm trying to
because
remember.
because
There are
like,
demons that are butt ass naked. Like,
yeah, because
I'm
50
trying to remember.
No,
I
'cause
don't
50
remember any.
there's like 5 or 6 demons that are just straight up.
50% of the demons are just women without their clothes on.
Like you,
Come on.
that one demon where his like horn is his like his.
Oh,
penis.
okay, yeah. I
Like,
do.
Like
I
there
do
are a
remember.
couple demons where I'm like, okay, but the thing is, they're a Persona too, so I kind of just
But I mean, the first demon you meet in the game has its cock and balls just hanging around.
Yeah,
like a
Really?
Greek statue.
they're demons. What do you expect? They don't care.
It's not. It wasn't even like hidden up. They didn't put a loincloth on it or anything. They're just like, yep, it just has a dick and balls just right there.
Some find it repulsing, some find it fan service. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I find it arousing, but that's just me. No,
Stop complaining about it.
I'm just saying I wouldn't play.
Is that the one positive you have?
The one positive is the cock and balls. No, I the positives would be the speed at which you progress through the game is just immense. It's just it's the most well disguised linear game I've ever seen. It slams you in and you're just going in a straight line, but it makes you feel like you're taking you're splitting off and branching paths. It makes you feel like you're making choices without really making too many choices. It still streamlines you the direction you need to go, and I appreciate it for that. The combat,
just wait till you get farther in the game. I'll be curious to what you and Thomas thinks about, I guess, the message of the game, because I'm like in the level 70s and it's bringing up some really interesting questions just about life and about gods in general. So I'll be excited to hear what you guys think about the storyline when you guys get farther in the game.
I mean, be fair, the only like knowledge I have about gods is Neil Gaiman's American Gods. So like, not my cup of tea, but I do really like the diversity of the demons and angels and everything. You've got Christian lore, you've got Aboriginal lore, you've got Native American, Indian, Japanese.
They have everything.
Everything.
It's
I
every
do
type
really
of like deity you can think of. Like,
I mean, that's super
that's
cool.
my favorite part of the game.
That's super cool. I like that a lot.
And they have demons with Dix's horns. So,
big old cock and balls.
Good variety.
And then the other 50% of demons are women without clothes on, so that's cool. But the combat is, I think, easy. Really easy. What else do I like about this horribly cringy game? I like.
It's great.
You know what? I do kind of like everything. Everything I've complained about right now, I do kind of like, and in a weird way. And I do think you're right. I do think the further out I get, the more, because it's one of those games that I'm just sitting down and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I lost 30 minutes of gameplay because I didn't save, but you know what? I think it was worth it. Let me do it again.
Yep.
So, I don't really have much more to say about it, other than,
You say more than Metroid Dread. Well said.
nope, wrong, not true. Not
He's
true.
only
on
2
the
hours in, so things
Not
can
true.
change.
Things can change.
No, here's another thing that made me think about Pokemon is the graphics. Not great, not fantastic.
It's more art style than graphics. Like art style wise, it shits on Pokemon, but graphics wise, it's not the best performer in the world.
No, not at all.
It runs at sub 30. Like, it has a lot of frame rate drops. Like that's one thing I've always noticed about it. It's not the best performing game ever.
I still, art style can mean a bunch of different things. I still think one of the lasting appeals about Pokemon is the character designs. They are so well manufactured. Like, even though I don't spend the time I did when I was a kid learning all the Pokemon, I can probably identify it based on, like, if you give me a picture and a name, I could probably piece them together. Like, there's so much thought put into the design of Pokemon characters. I mean, because it's marketed so heavily, like they need to put that design in there. A lot of these characters, and it kind of goes with my first statement, which was I don't really feel attached to any of these beings. Is also like they could have done a lot more to clearly identify what these demons are. They clearly took inspiration from actual real world sources, but so does Pokemon, and so do a lot of other video games that are fantasy. And I just think they could have put a little bit more care into designing the characters, because they do, some of them feel out of place, some of them feel a little lackluster, and I just think that when you're already playing with a pre-established top-down design like gods, you're just building a game around deities from religions around the world. You have the world is your oyster. Just design them with some cohesion. I don't know. I just the rest of the anime art style, of like the main human characters and the world you live in is perfect. It's great. I just think each of the little individual like characters, like, oh, you meet a slime and it looks like a stupid slime. It's ugly and gross and gruesome. There's no real design there. It's just a generic slime. It's an RPG. Of course, there's a slime. But then you get this like super cool, super designed angel that comes and you can fight with it and it shoots lightning. And it's just like, it just sort of feels like there could have been more cohesion with the designs.
Wait till you meet Dark Frost. You know, like it's coming. You know, like I get what you're saying. Like it's like the character designs are nowhere near Pokemon. I'm not gonna argue that. But I would say wait to see what this game can, you know, as far as like design of some of these creatures. Just wait a little bit.
Okay.
I think you'll be impressed by some of the later things you see.
I mean, already I'll say it to anyone who's listening with their big old ears. I love it. It's a really fun RPG. I'm nitpicking. I'm being nitpicking and biased. But it is a really fun game. And if RPGs aren't your thing, you probably wouldn't like it. I think it's
an RPG's RPG. Like,
it's an RPG. I don't think. Yeah, there's a lot of things straight out of this game that I'm like, this is something I remember from Earthbound. Like they took mechanics straight out of Earthbound. Like they are pulling way back into RPG gaming to make this game. It is an RPG, and it's really fun, but only if you like RPGs. Because I think it's too cringy and too complex on the on surface level. It's complex. On underlying, it's pretty simple, but they didn't really simplify it enough for like mass audiences. If you don't like RPGs, you probably wouldn't like this. But
well said.
I like RPGs. I really like it. It's you know what, I would agree, Alfredo. If I'd played it last year, it'd probably be on my game of the year list, because it is It is a pretty perfect RPG. And if it's as long as you're saying it is, I don't even know how they're going to manage to keep pace the further along this game goes. If you think I believe you that they do, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm like 47 hours in, still not done this game.
Yeah, I'm
like level 70.
35, so you're pretty much you're really far than me. So
getting there.
Yeah, well, hopefully the conversation continues. Ben, Cole, join us in hell. but till then,
we need more bodies.
Before we get into our main topic, we want to do a mailbag. So I'm gonna give the stage to Cole. Take it away.
All right. So we have a mailbag from Matthew. He says, "Hi lads, love the show. Appreciate your work and your dynamic. I've got a tough scenario for you. You are working at a top-rated game development firm, and the higher-ups have just hired you to their NFT division to create a vision to promote blockchain and NFTs in video games. They're asking for an elevator pitch to send around to publishers and marketers about NFTs. So it boils down to the question, how would you, in a few sentences, describe why NFTs will be successful in video games and how they contribute to the improvement of the industry? No wrong answers, but it can't be NFTs suck. I think he said. Then he goes on to say, I think blockchain can be beneficial for video games, but I want to know if I'm crazy or not. Keep it up, fellas. Regards, Matthew.
And thank you, Matthew, for submitting the question. We really appreciate that. And any viewers that want to have their questions read live on air, just email us at therealdukesofgaming@gmail.com to have your question read live on air and for us to answer it. So, guys, let's answer this. What are y'all's history with NFTs in terms of your overall sentiments? Let's kind of start with that.
Okay, I'll start with this. So I'm really big into cryptocurrency. I think NFTs are the future. I don't know that they're the future of art like they have been. I think they are probably, but I think they're more for outside of gaming, like, transferring the title of a house. Like, instead of storing it on your local county in the county office or on a tax appraiser's website and their own system, it's going to be stored on the blockchain. So, like, if I were to go sell my house to Thomas, now, obviously, you still get an attorney and everything, but you would also transfer that NFT. So that will show you clear chain of title, the NFT. You can see the history of it. And I think that kind of thing, like car ownership, stuff like that, I think it's huge for that space. And I think it's going to be huge for video games. I just can't really wrap my head. Maybe you guys can kind of help me think about this. But for video games, we talked about this off air before. Like, how you have different games creating different assets. How you're going to have a sword and you got an NFT for a gun in Call of Duty, but you want to carry the NFT over to like Battlefield. Like, that's just, it's not going to work. I think the metaverse, you could have something like, so I think about Alt Space. When me and Thomas were playing Alt Space, we met this, there's a real artist in Alt Space that everybody talks about. Her name is Artsy. You remember her, Thomas?
Yeah.
She designed like all these worlds and stuff. So I think like for something like that, like say Facebook's metaverse, whatever their platform is that they end up settling on, how the Horizon world, whatever it is, if Artsy designs a dress or a shirt or something, that could be an NFT, and you can use that to transfer within that game world. I don't think you're going to be able to cross over video games with NFTs. But when I was thinking about this, I pictured, say I work for Square Enix. I would say like Final Fantasy 14. Let's just assign NFTs to characters. So you could sell your character on OpenSea or whatever, where they sell NFTs, instead of having all these, they have these exchanges where you have to sell your Square Enix account. You got to sell your email and login and all this stuff. Just sell the NFT. The NFT is tied to a character. So you could create this build and then put it up for auction. Someone could buy it and transfer the NFT. You log into Square Enix, type in the NFT code or whatever, and boom, you got the character. I think that would be a good use case. What do you guys think?
I think it's important as far as NFTs goes. I want to kind of give a definition, because a lot of people, I feel like, still don't know what NFTs are, and I'm still a little bit rusty on NFTs myself. But basically, what NFTs are is it is a way on the blockchain, which is related to cryptocurrency, to be able to create a digital item, a digital asset like art or whatever it may be, a video game sword, whatever it may be. and say, hey, this was created by this person, and this is the record that it is currently owned by this specific person. And since it is on the blockchain, that means that it can be recorded and say, if you ever traded it to somebody else, everybody would be able to clearly see on the record that this particular Cloud Strife sword was transferred to this particular user. So that's NFTs in a nutshell. Much more complicated of that, but that's like
and
first.
And to add to that, so the reason why they can't be like reproduced or hacked or something, someone could obviously recreate the same sword or whatever, but so you would see, like, if the artsy artist that I was talking about made it, you would see that chain of title go from her to player A to player B to player C. You can trace it back to make sure it is the original piece.
And verified, yeah.
Yes, and verified, and stored on thousands of computers around the world.
I think what's interesting about Matthew's question, because he's proposing that, we're a part of this publisher. So we have the power to essentially, from the top down, tell all of our companies working under us, whether it's all of Square Enix's properties, like whoever's making all of our Final Fantasy games, hey, you guys have to incorporate NFTs in it. And I think that really is the only way that it could work from a top-down level, because what needs to happen in order for NFTs to be successful in video games is to have a standard of how they're going to be implemented in games. Because the whole process of NFTs is you have this particular art or outfit that you might want to be able to transfer to Final Fantasy Online 14 online. You want to be able to transfer to like any other Square Enix games that you have. The new Final Fantasy 16 is coming out and it supports NFTs. So the outfit you have on that Final Fantasy 14 online can be transferred to that game. But it has to be standardized so that it can successfully be transferred. Now, the problem with that is that we have a whole bunch of different video game companies, and how are we going to say, hey, everybody, we need to implement NFTs this exact same way so that things can be easily transferred to everyone's games and not just have them in the Square Enix.
So you're talking about hell.
I mean, yeah, basically
logistical and mental and complete and anguishing, devil poking you hell.
I don't think that can be done.
I think that I would go about it a different route personally, because I'm very up and down on cryptocurrency in general. I have cryptocurrency, but I do think there's a big misunderstanding about exactly what, this whole everything is. Like, some people think that the blockchain is just one thing. Like, the blockchain is just a blockchain. Just that's it. No. There are a bunch of different blockchains. There's a public blockchain. There's private blockchains. Like, so it's just a network. Just simplify. It's like there's multiple ways you can go about it. I don't think that all the publishers should have one blockchain. I think that doesn't sound like a good future for video games. I think how I would implement it is each individual company is doing their own thing. Hell, each individual game is doing their own thing. That's how I would approach it. Like, maybe when I think of this technology, I think of one of my favorite game series of all time, Mega Man Battle Network. Now, I don't know if you all ever seen the anime. It was like a children's show that came on like WB. And it was inspired by this video game. And so essentially all the characters had like an avatar, and they'd plug the avatar into computers, and they would like kind of act as their proxy inside the computer, and the computer's like its own little world.
Oh, like Avatar.
The Last Airbender?
Oh. No, you mean like the blue people?
Yeah.
Kinda, but it's like they're not actually the person. It's like the person you're submitting into the computer, it's its own individual thing. Like Mega Man's Mega Man.
Oh, okay.
You mean like the metaverse, or Facebook, or YouTube, or Tumblr, or
like
Twitter,
think Ready Player One, except the person that's inside that universe is its own person.
Okay, so like The Sims.
It's like an AI.
Yeah,
it's like an AI that's like your best friend. You're in sync with them. You can communicate with them. I think NFTs would be great in something like that, where it's like the NFT would be that character you have, and it's exclusive to you. You're the only person that can access it, because a blockchain would do something like that very well to me, where it's like, if it's you, you're the only person who has the exact credentials to access this character and all his whatever weapons you have and everything. I think making it overly complicated, I think, is a problem. I think if you really gamify the process, I think that's how you can really implement it in video games. Make it fun. Make it seem like you're not even using NFTs, but you are. That's how I would do it.
That's fair.
Ben?
The one place where I probably would really want to see it implemented is, so we all obviously have PlayStation accounts, Xbox accounts, whatever it may be, where we purchase digital games that are connected to our accounts. So I could see definitely NFTs be really helpful there, in that, okay, I purchased this game, but if I want to go for PlayStation, I purchased this one game. But if I want to go to Xbox, do I have to purchase the same game over again? Or because I purchased the game license as an NFT, does that mean I can automatically get it on Xbox?
Dude, that is genius. I haven't even thought about it like that.
Look, companies are not going to do this because they want
no,
more
not at
money,
all.
but I think it
not
would
at
be a
all.
really great implementation.
That's incredible.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. That'd be very cool. Like, you have actual ownership, because right now,
Yeah.
we pretty much are owning the right to play all these digital games. Like, there's
Exactly.
no like
Which
actual.
is why I buy physical copies.
Right. If you get banned from your PlayStation account, I don't know how that works specifically, but I assume that makes it harder for you to play with digital games.
You just lose all. Yeah, you lose all access
Yeah.
to your digital games if your PlayStation account gets
Which
banned.
sucks so much.
Yeah, so it's
yeah,
like
totally
NFTs, I think, could help with that. That's a really good idea, Alfredo.
This I really appreciate Matthew writing in this question, because this is a really tough one, and it's thought provoking, because I think we're all on a similar side when it comes to NFTs, and that we don't see them slotting in nicely to games, at least as they currently exist. My mind went down a similar path that Alfredo's did, because I think a lot of the promise that NFT advocates are offering as to what NFTs can do for consumers, right? I think we have a pretty good idea about what they can do for publishers. Inject digital scarcity into
massive
an ecosystem. Yeah,
massive digital scarcity
that didn't previously have it, except for what each individual game came up with, what the game economy was. You know, there's always scarcity to some degree in video games when you're talking about a given item. It's like, but that's typically up to the game designers, and typically the main goal there, usually in a good game, is how is this fun or a compelling experience versus how can I persuade people to give me money for this thing. So yeah, my mind went down a similar path to what Alfredo said, but I do believe that there's just not a snowball's chance in hell that Microsoft and Sony are going to allow, you know, your game NFT to be communicable across their platforms. They have no incentive to. In fact, they lose money if that happens.
Yep.
However, what I was thinking was just to open up a intra-platform used game marketplace. This might be something that GameStop wants to do. GameStop launches the GameStop digital games launcher. Let's think about it as an analog to Epic Game Launcher. Or, you know, Epic could do this too. Epic loses nothing from doing this because they don't sell games.
Yeah.
They have Fortnite, which you don't need to
rolling
buy.
into Joe.
So if we did the thing where like every game is an NFT, and it's not an NFT in the way that it's like scarce. It's not like there's only 1 million copies of this game. You know, there's as many copies as people want to buy. But when you buy them, you have your unique license that's registered on the blockchain, and then you have the secondary market where you can sell that license, your right to play the game on the GameStop launcher, to somebody else once you're done with the game. And
that'd be really cool.
Maybe you can only legitimately make that sale through GameStop's launcher, in which case they get 5% of the sale.
Or you get $2 and they'll resell it for like 10.
Yeah. Right.
So would this be something that's exclusively on PC in your vision of it? Because I don't see like Xbox or PlayStation putting that app on their console. But I can see PC there'll definitely be a way you can do it on PC. So
I think cool. I think the major publishers, the major platform holders, likely have little incentive to do anything like this. But I think a company like GameStop does, to make themselves competitive against Steam or Epic in the case of PC game sales.
And it's brilliant too because it fits their old. It's like their old model brought into modern day.
Yeah,
it does. But when you bring up that argument, I start to think about, okay, what is the new and used game market all about? And it all comes down to the disc and it losing its value.
My question is, who will be able to sell this used game? Because it would have to be the publisher, right? Because you can't just sell your game as an NFT.
No, you own NFT. You sell that NFT. That's the right to the game.
But how would it claim access to the game if the game is owned by the company?
No, so you own the digital license to play the game. So it literally acts as a key that is the same as owning a disc. Yeah. So right now
just like a key you put into PlayStation, like a little a key card, like you buy
when you buy like a digital game off like Amazon and you get that thing emailed to you like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can resell that code. Basically.
Yeah, it stays registered to your account so that when you sell the code to somebody else, you can no longer use it. It's like giving them your disc.
Mm-hmm.
I have now transferred ownership to somebody else. They gave me $15 for it, and now they can play it, but I can't play it anymore.
But my question is, how is it considered a used game if it's digital? Because essentially, it would be the same exact thing as a new game.
I don't think it would be considered used. I just think it would be considered a version of a game that has this seal of authenticity. Like it belonged to this person for this amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're selling dead stock shoes. That's what it reminds me of. Where it's like they're bought, but they haven't been used before. That's what it seems like.
I feel like the question that you're asking, Alfredo, is like, how does that matter?
Yes,
because there is no degradation in value.
Exactly,
no degradation
as opposed to
value.
A disc.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So,
disc.
like with a physical disc, there are things that can physically happen to the disc where you enter into this buyer beware kind of mentality when you're buying something used, which is why it costs less to buy the used disc at GameStop than it does to buy the new disc at GameStop, because the new disc is a guarantee from the manufacturer that this thing is going to work.
Yep.
It comes with whatever codes were inside the thing. It comes
whatever
with whatever warranties are
but that's over. Like that's done. So like it's just gonna have to, like, that sucks for GameStop to lose that. But like now it's just going towards the license. Do you have the license or not?
Can I give a round of applause? Can I give a round of applause real quick to the guy who scammed Logan Paul out of $3.5 million?
Oh, for the Pokemon?
Can I give a round of applause to whoever did that? Because
didn't it have like G.I. Joe cards?
It had G.I. Joe cards in it. I want to give a big round of applause to that, because that is ultimately the goal of authenticity, marking authenticity with the blockchain is, you have to make sure this for ridiculous made up reasons to me. Like digital stuff, none of this matters for digital stuff, the authenticity. I really don't think it does, and I don't think it ever really will. I think it will be used monetarily to put like fancy little items in Fortnite that you can buy exclusively. Oh, there's 100 of these exclusive items and they've got this code. Yes, you can buy this item another way, but there's a mark of authenticity on the first 100 we sell.
Think about those Pokemon cards. If there was an NFT tied to that bundle of Pokemon cards, before you bought them from him, you could trace the chain of title. And if he had assigned that to someone else, you would not buy those Pokemon cards.
Like, that's the difference. What's
you
the
can
difference
literally
between
assign it
the
to
Pokemon card and NFT. Like, what's the true difference?
No, okay. No. So first of all, I'm gonna make 2 points here. First point, Cole. Good. I'm glad that Logan Paul was scammed out of that much money because it's funny. I personally am of the belief that NFTs remove some freedoms, which is funny because I hear a lot of anarcho-capitalists talking about how the NFTs are the way of the future, and I'm like, oh, you fucking idiots! This is absolutely anti-freedom at all regards. Nothing should be marked this way. If an idiot is going to get scammed by someone selling stupid Pokemon cards for a stupid amount of money, then you deserve to be scammed. Suck my cock. On the other hand,
how you feel.
no, it's funny that I like the world we live in where you can get scammed. I much prefer that. I think it's funny. I think that's freeing. That's liberating. You know. On the other hand,
what's funny is that's the true anarcho-capitalist mindset.
No,
smarter.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I hear a hypocrisy from anarcho-capitalists saying that like, oh, NFTs are free. They're like the best way forward for money because they're all crypto bros, and I'm like, but you clearly don't grasp what your beliefs are. I'm calling out the hypocrisy on that belief system.
Of NFTs in general.
Well,
like they're the future of they're the future.
The anarcho-capitalists, the libertarians who think that this is free trade when it's exactly the opposite of free trade. The second point I'm going to make.
Hands, yes,
yeah, but corporations, yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. To your other point, Thomas, there's no difference, and I'm going to say that because there's already a place NFTs exist in the gaming world, and it's called Pokemon. So this kind of nicely ties back into some of my talk about Shin Megami Tensei 5, where some of that the mechanics that the game allows you to set up and build in the level up system are so out there and a little overwhelming. Pokemon hides all that shit, and they hide a lot more shit. There are so many different secret codes that identify your Pokemon. So first of all, you've got the Pokemon identification number, which is the number in its Pokedex. Then you have
but you can't sell these, can you? You can't transfer.
No, you can trade Pokemon to other players.
The concept is, he's absolutely right. Okay, the concept is there. It's like baby's first,
but
NFT.
You can't sell them.
Mm-hmm. No, not yet. Not until
you can't sell your Pokemons. I'm shocked at that.
Oh no! I mean, okay, yeah, you can sell Pokemon on eBay. There are people who sell Pokemon on eBay for sure. But what I'm saying is, so ultimately, so Pokemon are the ID number, which the Pokemon is like number 25, which is Pikachu or something, and then you've got the stats. There are 5-6 stats that make up a Pokemon's mechanic. And then it has one ability that alters 2 of those stats. And then it's got a secret 6 other codes that identify each of those stats, making them completely unique to that Pokemon. Then you've got your trainer ID code, the person who owns it first. And that is any number between 0 and 900,999. And then you've got a whole slew of other small markers that identify the Pokemon. Did it ever have this disease? There's a virus in the game your Pokemon can catch, which makes them more valuable. You can sell a Pokemon with this disease on eBay for more money than a Pokemon that doesn't have it. For a fucking stupid made-up little sprite of a Pokemon that just has a different code attached to it. It already exists in Pokemon. Pokemon is 2 steps away from making NFTs a valuable sellable monetary thing.
God don't tempt them.
So no, they're in their magnum opus, which is Pokemon Sword and Shield. Bad game. There is a Pokemon in that game called Polteageist. Polteageist is a teacup ghost Pokemon.
I like that Pokemon.
So they created their own NFT system, kind of their own tagging system. But the downside of it, that the difference in NFT would be that is stored on Nintendo servers or whatever.
Yeah.
So if that crashes, all the information's gone.
It's stored by the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
really quick. I looked up what Pokemon was number 25. It is in fact Pikachu. Good job.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
you knew he knew that. I knew he knew that. There was no way he
I was
didn't.
pretty sure it was Pikachu, but I was like, I feel like he's right.
Guys,
Let's look it up.
when Ben was talking, I came up, I was thinking, okay, imagine an indie game comes out. Say it's good, like good to or average to good indie game, right? And when it releases, they say, hey, we're selling 1 million copies of this game, $40 each. And when you buy a copy of this game, you get the NFT. And after that, we're done. We don't own the game anymore. We're not selling any more copies. So effectively, you own a share in that game, 1 million shares. And after that, the value goes up because there's only 1 million in a million versions of this game out there. So this will be a good thing for Grand Theft Auto couldn't do this, but like an indie game to take I feel like this would blow up. Imagine just a random indie game coming out on Switch, just saying, "Hey, we're going to sell or 500,000. We're going to sell them for
what if it's a
$50
shit
each."
game? What if it's a shit game or a virus?
I feel like if it was on Switch, it couldn't be a virus. If it was
But if it's
video
on
game.
Switch, Nintendo's getting that.
Nintendo's getting that, yeah.
They're never gonna allow you to be able to sell
So,
stuff on your game.
Yeah, you're
on
right.
their
You're right.
system.
So
Apple doesn't let. That's why Apple didn't let Fortnite on their system because
the platforms. You're right. The platforms have to allow it. But you kind of see what I'm saying, though. Like,
that's the thing is, whenever you get to it with video games, it always leads to the platform holders. Yeah, and it's like that's the part that is the problem. Like that's the fundamental part.
But let's just say that wasn't the issue. Do you see what I'm getting at? Like you actually own
that could be really cool.
But can we still like I get where you're coming from, Cole. I really do understand where you're coming from. It's cool to have one of those 10,000 games, but like Thomas, you brought up trading cards earlier. Trading cards are a huge example of like real world that seal of authenticity. You can print the same card 6 million times, but 10 of them have a special little stamp on them, and that increases the price 5,000 fold.
Yeah, like it's the perfect example for an NFT. Like it's a literal like physical embodiment of what NFTs kind of do.
It's cool, but it's kind of stupid. Who cares?
But it's stupid it's stupid that's been around since like forever. Like you can think of the tulips, like those tulips that were sold back in the day, and those were worth like crazy amounts of money. Those things didn't mean shit technically.
But more specifically to that, and this is what I was talking about, that Pokemon Poltegeist. Like genuinely back in the day, the China manufacturers in the United Kingdom or Britain or England or whatever you want to call it, that shithole country, the manufacturers of China, rare China, would market with a very specific seal of authenticity because a lot of other China was coming into the country that was cheaper, easier to manufacture, and they're like, oh, we have to make ours special somehow. And they did it with a little stamp. And it's the same thing. Like, I can buy a Mercedes-Benz from China for like $20. It's not a Mercedes-Benz, but they stole it's the exact same car. It just doesn't have the little badge that was on all of Hitler's tanks on it. So like, I mean, I guess I'm bad for buying a knockoff Chinese Mercedes-Benz instead of the Nazi one. So I just don't get it. I don't see why we humans attribute value to such mundane things. And I just think this is
so there's a blockchain game out called DeFi Kingdoms, and they released like I don't know, a few thousand heroes. I have no idea the number, but anyway, it's a scarce number of heroes, and people bought them like 4 months ago for like $50 a piece, $20 a piece, and Joule is the crypto that they buy them with, but it was the equivalent of USD, like $20 or something. Now the heroes are going for between $400 and $600. So if you want to, you can't play I guess you can kind of play the game. You can like stake your crypto with the game, but if you want to go on quests and stuff, you have to have one of these heroes. So you have to buy it on an NFT exchange so you can play the game. And what they're doing is they'll drop another set of heroes, and they're all like they're scarce and they're all slightly different. Like it's
a market. There's a market.
Yeah, like think like Rogue Legacy or something, like how each little hero has their own little stats. So they'll drop several of those, and you got to have those to play the game. So, I don't really see where it benefits them. It doesn't benefit the developer because they're going to sell it for the X price they drop it for at the beginning. But I guess it just gets the community hyped around it, and they start. I don't know.
I want to go back to Matthew's original question because I think we've been trying to answer. I think we've been trying to answer a question that is much more difficult to answer than the one that Matthew actually asked.
We did 2 podcasts to answer it correctly.
Yeah.
What he asked us was, how would you, in a few sentences, describe to the publisher that you work for why NFTs will be successful in video games?
Okay,
and how they will contribute to the improvement of the industry. We don't have to paint an optimistic picture of.
I got you. I got you. The elevator pitch. I got you the elevator pitch right here. And this is it. Gaming is trending in the direction of ownership. NFTs give players ownership, and whether that matters, whether it's crazy or not, but the fact that they can feel like they own an item or they own a character and they can transfer it to someone else, that's huge, and that's where we're going. And we need to be looking into this. That's my elevator pitch.
Pretty good. I feel like Clem's has something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna hold my tongue because I think the whole ownership argument is artificially manufactured by Apple and their fucking stupid policies. A couple 10 years ago, I think at this point, it's been a long time. Bruce Willis of the Die Hard franchise, Bruce Willis, he sued Apple because he wanted to put his iTunes library in his will to his daughter. All of his music would go to his daughter, and Apple said no.
His music?
No, not his music. He was borrowing it from Apple, silly. He bought it.
I thought you meant like he dropped an album or something. Okay.
Oh no. I own his album. I own his blues album somewhere. But no. He wanted to give his daughter access to his iTunes library in his will.
Got you. Okay.
And I don't know how that lawsuit went. I feel like he lost because Apple said, no, you don't own the music you purchased from us with your money.
The thing is, Apple doesn't even own that music. That's the thing. Apple has the right to, when it comes to like streaming and stuff, but
well guess what?
All those songs have masters that are owned by individual labels.
Right. Ownership basically is a completely nonsense thing right now. I don't see. There are physical things you can own in the real world. And I think you technically do own all of your music, even though Apple can take it away from you. Like, I've mentioned it before. I like Kanye West, but stop messing with your music, dude. I know it's yours, but like, just put it out there and move on. Do something.
Personal NFTs.
It's his own personal little NFT he can tweak, and it pisses me off because he makes the music worse. George Lucas, another great guy who does the same thing. I just... Ownership doesn't matter when it comes to digital stuff. I really don't think it does. I think it's an argument.
But the market says different.
But the market is stupid.
All right. So back to the question. Let's get back to the question.
Sure, yeah, back to the question.
Describe why NFTs will be successful in video games. This is the easy part. Mm-hmm. And how they contribute to the improvement of the industry. That's the hard part.
Okay. So
first, let me jump in real quick. They will be successful because we know scarcity matters.
Because people are gluttonous.
NFTs allow us to generate scarcity in a very controllable way.
You're right.
We know scarcity matters, even when it's digital goods, even when it's things that don't technically exist or technically matter. Doesn't matter. Scarcity is important. It's just human psychology.
Yeah.
It's much harder to fake an NFT than it is to fake a Pokemon card. Like it's
well, no one's done it. No one's ever done it.
Yeah, and that to me is the fundamental difference. Like NFTs offer a level of security to the scarcity, and that's the difference. That's what makes it compelling.
I do want to hear everybody's elevator pitch, though.
I can go next. That's because mine was essentially what I said was, video game that's developed around NFTs where. Avatar is you create an avatar and you have the NFT rights to that avatar. No one can make that avatar but you. And that would be my elevator pitch. I think that would be a compelling game. I would want to gamify the NFT process, not exactly make a profit motive behind it per se, but just gamify it. That'd be my elevator pitch.
Ben, what was yours? What was your elevator pitch?
Okay, so I want to answer the second question. How does it contribute to the improvement of the industry? The pitch that I would make, moving away from what I originally said, my grand vision of an NFT strategy, which would be like a used games market, which has plenty of holes, granted. I'm thinking that the way that this actually leads to some significant improvement in a way that publishers care about, and in a way that good faith consumers should be okay with, is if NFTs could be used as an authentication method to combat piracy. So not as a resale thing. There's nothing implicit about registering something on the blockchain, which means that you can transfer it necessarily. If you can transfer if you don't have control of the token on the blockchain, if the publisher still has control of the token, but it's registered to your account, then it just acts as a way to authenticate that the thing is real, right?
How does that different than now? I'm not really good with PC games, and like, how do people fake the PC codes? I mean, is that like, because that seems like that would kind of be the same thing as far as like you have to have the code to play the game.
But if it was on the NFT, it would be on the blockchain, and you could verify it through the blockchain.
So the game, putting a ROM on the NFT, you mean?
Doesn't the game though have a list of the codes it has?
Yeah. So the way to get around it would be to hack the authenticator rather than to generate a spoofed token, which I think that's usually how people get around anti-piracy measures right now, is to generate a potentially legitimate token.
Sure. Ben, can you actually rephrase? Can you state the question again? The second part of the question, because I think I've got an idea. Yeah.
It's describe why NFTs will be successful in video games and how they contribute to the improvement of the industry.
So you're saying that if they couldn't hack the blockchain would basically take place of the authenticator and it would be unhackable then. Is that what you're saying?
Nothing's unhackable. Nothing's unhackable. But if the stuff is registered on the blockchain, I think for one, a proactive seeking out of like, is your game authentic or not, would be much easier to do than it is currently.
You do know that
if a
Bitcoin has
publisher
never
wanted
been
to have
hacked,
a
right?
10-person team that made sure everybody's game was authentic and shut down the games of people that didn't have authentic games, you could do that. And this sounds shitty, but like developers got to make money, right?
Yeah. No. Okay. So that's actually where I want to take this in a positive light, and it's the one positive thing I have about NFTs, because first part of the elevator pitch is how can we as a developer utilize this? Why do we think this is the future of gaming? Reason why is because there's a bunch of ugly whales out there who think they have a disposable income and don't have a sex life and have every single Funko Pop and will spend money on our special limited edition Fortnite shirt. The second part of the argument, I would say, is how can this benefit the industry? By giving the people who work on the games, the 3D and 2D artists, apt credit and money. If you can identify the artists who worked on a single item in a game, if you can say this is the 3D UI artist who worked on the menu, this is this, you can clearly credit each of them in that blockchain code. You can give them the right amount of money. They can get a stipend for each time it is traded, each time it is sold. They are part of what made that thing sell. They deserve some compensation for it. And now we can track how valuable their art is. I think that would be a fairly good way of utilizing this technology, is giving credit where credit's due. Because you're right, this is a great way to combat piracy. And you're right, game devs got to eat too.
Alfredo, what was your pitch? Your elevator pitch?
Honestly, I've been thinking about it a lot, and my pitch for the first half of the question, that's how it can be utilized, is definitely more along the lines of clams, where you look at what we have now in terms of online marketplaces, in terms of free-to-play games, and how we are monetizing them now, and they're making buku bucks. Put that on a crack with NFTs. If you add scarcity to it, demand will go even higher, you get more money to it. So that would be my pitch for having NFTs in, every single game that we're going to publish. But as far as can it succeed and can it improve the games industry as a whole, I think it definitely can, but I feel like it's going to take a long time for that to succeed because of my first half of the question of companies and publishers are going to think about money first, and that's about it. That's really all that they care about. That's their bottom line. And NFTs in the long run has the potential to benefit the consumer more than I feel like the actual companies itself, which is a very unpopular thing, I feel like, for companies to do. They don't really have any incentive to give more power to the consumers. So I feel like it would take a really long time for NFTs to be used in a way that is beneficial for consumers other than just simply monetization.
Unless they own the trading space, unless they own the space in which you can trade or sell items.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but nothing about NFTs by their definition suggests that like any marketplace or anything we imagine you're doing with NFTs exists on top of NFTs and what they are. Like NFTs and what they are is literally just the thing registered on a ledger, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So any trading that's going on is based on the fact that there's only a few of these things on the ledger, but the trading takes place elsewhere. It's some other service.
Here's why I think the royalty thing works, because Jerry Seinfeld gets a little check every time someone buys a Seinfeld DVD. Unless it's like sold on Craigslist or whatnot. But if it's sold in a marketplace like Walmart or something, he gets a little check that says you get a little royalty because you were on that ledger.
Right.
And I think it could benefit all the people who work on games, or at least the item that's traded and sold. Like there's 100 of this item. Okay. There's 100 of this item and it's traded this many times. Each time it's traded increases the value of the artist who designed that thing, because it's clearly got it's got value to it. If you are a 3D artist who made a gun that is super cool and super sleek and everyone wants it, but there's only a scarce amount and it's sold this many times, your value as an artist goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And the games
I love that idea.
Controversially, I don't think that's a good idea at all. As somebody who works,
why?
I don't think it's feasible. I don't think a company would do that. Like, why would they give the worker that as opposed to taking it for themselves?
Yes.
Like, what? What is the incentive?
You guys aren't like fully seeing the nightmare that this becomes, right? Because this is great for the people who sculpt guns, and the people who animate them, and the people who do the sound design for them. Yeah. What about me, right? What about the guy that just writes the lines? You can't trade the lines on, well, I mean, maybe an emote or something on NFTs.
Well, no.
But what about the guy that does the lighting system for the game, that codes it?
You can sell each individual.
What about the guy that does
light?
Yeah. What about the team that works on
the
net code?
And if you think about this, once you sell it one time, that's it. I don't know of a way to track royalties or anything. Well, I mean, you sell it, and the next person has true ownership of that. But that
code moves. That code moves. So you can see that move. But no. Now back to what Ben was saying, because this is back to the pessimistic I hate NFTs talk that I like so much. Yes, once you got them started, man. Once you start monetizing every single, because I don't see any benefit to NFTs. I don't. Once you start monetizing things in this way, it becomes so nitpicky.
It's a Pandora's box.
It's a Pandora's box, 100%. And do the writers on Seinfeld get a royalty check? Yes, but it's smaller than Jerry Seinfeld's. That's for sure. Once you start like cutting everything into these little tiny bits, it becomes a nightmare.
I can say this though. Jerry Seinfeld does not get a rip when you resell your Seinfeld DVDs to your friend.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And the key grip on Seinfeld seasons 1 through 3 or whatever probably doesn't get any royalties at all.
No.
But that's part of the contract that and the union agreement that person went into the situation understanding, and also they aren't Jerry Seinfeld and they should know that, right?
Yes.
Like they're not bringing people to the show.
Equality will never exist. We know this.
I think the problem with assigning like monetary value after the fact of things that are resold on a game means that certain types of content get all the attention, right? There's already some of this gravity in just like what gets community sentiment going, but there's types of work that are totally necessary to the development of game that nobody who plays the game recognizes. Even
like
exists.
The coding, like the Grand Theft Auto, the physics of the cars and how they work and everything. You can't sell that as an NFT.
No.
And that's
Rockstar can.
the game. Yeah, I mean, they could. Yeah, I guess they could.
And that's where I see it. Like that's how I see it. Like it would be the only people profiting are the people selling
the companies. Yep.
Yeah.
No.
I want to hold on. I want to reiterate Alfredo's earlier point. None of this speculation matters really, because the only use for these digital things that are tracked on the ledger is what the creators of the games allow us to use them for. So it's not going to be these blue sky ideas that we have about truly owning your games, that kind of stuff, because there's no incentive to allow that on the consumer end. It's not going to be the things that empower us as consumers, right?
No.
Wait, you're saying
you
mean there's no incentive on the corporation's end,
The
right?
people the people who own the things you'd be selling.
Well, there would be
Yes.
there would be incentive because you could resell it for more money, essentially, maybe. Right?
But you're producing a finite amount.
No, but that hot potato ends with someone and then it crashes.
And it starts with the publisher, and they sell it for a nominal amount. Probably not there very much, but the fact that it's scarce means a lot of people buy the thing.
Yeah.
Probably more than what would have to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, like, the best ideas that we have for NFTs are things that are totally unfeasible because Sony and Microsoft wouldn't allow the thing to happen.
Yeah.
The developers wouldn't want you to be able to resell their games on the used games market. None of this, like, so the best case uses for NFTs don't matter. So what is the actual use case for NFTs? The actual use case is to generate a market based on scarcity that does not currently exist. The only scarcity involved with games are physical goods, things that have to be manufactured,
Collector's editions, stuff like that.
Yeah.
things or discs and consoles.
Right.
Things that take time to achieve, like a really great World of Warcraft account that you could sell on eBay for hundreds of dollars that took 5,000 hours to get your character to where it is, right? It's because time is scarce.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And then things that are artificially scarce because more could be produced with very little overhead, but there's a concerted effort not to do it so that bidding wars happen, and we have an economy because you have to have scarce resources in order to have an economy.
Yeah. Like imagine a great world, a magical world where you can play Batman Arkham City, and you can get an NFT skin for Batman and his nipples are just poking out. And you're like, yes, I bought that with my money. It is mine. I own Batman's nipples. Well, one of 1,000 of Batman's nipples. Times 2. He's got 2.
In the way I see getting to those pie in the sky dreams of Batman's nipples, obviously, but the way I feel about getting to the end goal of the power being in the consumer's hand and like the everyday people who are actually training these things and, owning one license and then owning the product wherever you go, if you go to Xbox or PlayStation. How we get to that, the way I feel about it is the same way I felt about how crossplay. Not too long ago, we were all saying crossplay is never going to be a thing. There's no incentive for, anybody to incorporate this in the game. But eventually, pressure built on those corporations where now crossplay is pretty much a given.
Yeah. Well,
so I feel like it can get there.
Though. But there was an incentive there to make cross. There's no incentive for them to.
Yes, there's not an incentive now.
So I do think there's an incentive.
Future, there could be.
So I think the incentive is like, say Destiny released like 5,000 of these new icebreaker sniper rifles or something. And the incentive is, they might only sell them for like $10 each, or they may be unlocked by doing something in the game. But then it makes people, what am I trying to say?
Yeah. Can I ask a question real quick while you're thinking about that? Because it might be what you're thinking of. So I feel like there's a schism. Ben, are you arguing that there's more incentive for the corporations to put out NFTs because it is a quick buck? Alfredo and Cole, it seems like you're arguing that there's more power to the player.
I think it's both because so here's what I was going to say. So the corporation, their incentive is, they may only make a quick buck selling these $10 microtransaction things, but it keeps the interest of the community. I feel like it kind of adds a whole nother layer, and it keeps people playing their games. If someone knows that they can grind out and they can actually make money from grinding out or something, like these teenagers and stuff, they'll spend more time in that game than they would if that wasn't even possible. And at the end of the day, you want people to stay on your platform as much as possible.
But I don't think they would want a marketplace that they have no control over.
Hold on. Are we describing a pyramid scheme? Is this a pyramid scheme?
That's the age-old argument.
But it's like, well, no, it's like what Ben said. It's just scarcity. It's just supply and demand.
I mean, like a corporation puts out a thing for a cheap amount of money, but enough to them to make it profitable, and then everyone else puts the work into it to make it valuable, and eventually, at the bottom of the chain, it stops being valuable.
Well, no, I can tell you why it's not a pyramid scheme.
Okay,
it's not a pyramid scheme because from the beginning, the thing never had any intrinsic value, and nobody lied about it. Nobody lied and said that this thing actually does have
go
value, or this thing actually will give you returns.
Sure.
I don't think it's a pyramid scheme. It's more like
here's a gun, and we're only going to make 1,000 of them.
Right.
If you think that's valuable, good for you.
Exactly.
It's just a marketplace. It's how any marketplace works.
Can you imagine if Destiny released a gun on launch that there was only 500 of them? They would be worth
$10,000 though. Because why? Like, why is there only 500 digital versions? Like, if it's like an actual gun, you know what I'm saying? And there's only 500.
Okay. So what if
that makes sense?
What if a new gun is?
It makes no sense.
What if a new gun is produced every time like a raid is like every time someone a team completes a raid? So it's almost like the block like an
RNG, like an RNG thing
so
that creates a different gun.
So there is it inflates over time, but very small.
Hold on.
I mean, I like. There's so many scenarios that we could come up with to like ways to incorporate NFTs. The problem is that at the end of the day, like you have to ask, does it make the game better? Does it make the experience to play it better? And if the answer is no, then it's not. It's like, is it making the industry better appreciably? Probably not, because the games are not getting better as a result. Or at worst case scenario, they're getting worse. And then,
I feel like the NFTs need to be a gameplay mechanic.
Guys, we can ask the same thing about microtransactions, though. Microtransactions, did they make anything better? Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess they kind of did because people.
For some people, if you're rich and you want to be really good at a game, your gameplay is better because you're able to buy.
So what if you could? So what if instead of being stuck with that microtransaction, you could just sell it to someone else?
I got it.
How can you sell it?
I got it.
NFT.
I got it. I know how to make NFTs valuable in gaming. You, as the player, have to earn them through completing some amount of tasks. You have to do something and
that's kind of what I was saying with Destiny.
Yeah,
like every time a raid is completed, there's a gun is minted or something.
I wouldn't even say every single time. I would say once the game launches, there's a raid. At the end of the raid, the first 5,000 people that complete this raid can get this gun. If they're playing online, they can get this special gun that says, I completed this raid, I'm going to kill you with this gun. Signed, Sony.
And then they can sell it.
They have to earn that, though. And that
gives is the Diablo 3 auction house. People hated the Diablo 3 auction house.
Yeah, but if
I think we should move off of this to get to our.
I thought we can have a whole entire thing about NFTs because it's a very deep concept. I'm sure we're gonna have a good conversation about it.
I do want to answer Matthew Bliss's question in summation. Though.
Yeah.
How would you, in a few sentences, describe to the publisher why NFTs will be successful in video games? I think we can answer that pretty definitively.
We've done
scarcity is important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Even if the things don't have intrinsic value, scarcity gives them value.
Sold. So that idea is
successful.
Sold. Yeah.
that is why they'll be successful. And how they contribute to the improvement of the industry. This one's more difficult, but I think we can say the enthusiasm generated by the scarcity and interest generated will give us more sales on whatever the thing is.
And that's
money will be made.
Can I
the industry for us?
Can I paperclip my concept of giving our employees, not all of them, but some of them, the incentive to do better work? Because I do genuinely think like giving that NFT some code or some way to identify the artists who worked on it. Not all of them. Who cares about all of them? But some of them, the incentive to think that they are more important. That importance will make them work harder for us. It benefits the gaming company and the consumer who wants that artist's work. It gives them credit. I'm gonna stand on that. I'm gonna stand on that.
I see your point, but I also see
3D modelers into millionaires and then they're gonna quit.
So my last comment will be this. I think it works best for games like creation, like alt space. So when
I think Dreams would be really good for NFTs.
Yeah, Dreams would be great. You can sell houses or assets, whatever, with NFTs.
It'd be really good for that.
But like alt space, if there was an outfit that an artist created that you could just resell, or in the metaverse, I think that's where it works really good.
Yeah, I hope we get past because I still don't understand from a licensing standpoint how all that works. Like that's still kind of because I know that these companies take their IP very seriously.
I feel like they don't know how it works either. The exciting part is that we're still
I fear the day that they understand how it works. That's the day I fear because once I feel like this whole thing comes crashing down. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Anybody had any other final thoughts?
Fuck NFTs.
Way to
I'm
go!
excited.
Thank you, Matthew Bliss, for the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Matthew.
I will say that it's not a popular topic amongst gamers. Like I was reading a Reset Era thread about it, and they all hate it.
It probably has like a 90. It has like a 90 to 10 ratio. Of like hate
so much hate.
Yeah, no.
Hey, but seriously, thank you, Matthew. That we appreciate your question every day.
Maybe we'll make this episode NFT.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
And we'll gift it to Matthew.
We'll get our people on it.
There we go. So let's get into our main topic. I feel like that was just our main topic.
That was our main topic. But let's not kid ourselves.
But let's get into our main topic. So we already know the avalanche that's coming. And I'm not talking about the weather people. I'm talking about the avalanche of February 2022, where we're getting some heavy hitting games. Just to name a few, we're getting Horizon Forbidden West, my personal favorite for the year. But we'll get to that later. Obviously, Elden Ring. I know we have a lot of people here interested in that. We have Sifu. I'm really looking forward to that as well. I know Alfredo is as well. And then Rainbow Six Extraction is coming out.
Don't forget the Witch Queen.
I'll saving that for last. We got the Witch Queen, obviously coming out as well.
Witch Cream.
My slur. But yeah, we have that coming out. And then anything else?
Pokemon Arceus comes out the last day of January, so I guess that.
I guess that counts. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we got that too coming out in a couple weeks, and then I think that's it. But that's still a good amount of games coming out in 1 month. So, what do we plan on accomplishing before we get hit with Avalanche? Who looks the most? Taylor, go ahead.
I would like to play a game that Alfredo recommended last year. I would like to play and finish Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah,
that is a
Has
game that I would
finish this game besides me.
And that didn't make your top 5, did it, Alfredo?
It did.
It did.
It did, yeah.
It did. It was
It was his
my
most
top
hyped game. It was his most hyped game last year.
I don't remember it being in the top 5, but
was in
that's
the top
my
3.
non-elephant memory.
Yeah. Looks like a really, really nice game. Looks like a lot of fun, and it seems like a game that would be really relaxing. It's going to be a stressful month for me. Oh, never mind.
It's
I'm not going to play it.
Not relaxing.
It's kind of hard.
It's like Dark Souls, but
Yeah.
like less
But like in a
combat than Dark Souls.
like I assume in a repetitive way, like in a kind of you get into a rhythm way.
No, you don't.
Okay, sell me on the game because I'll just not play it.
It's a very whimsical tale that gets really deep in
Yes.
very like interesting moments.
I like
Has
the
a really
stories.
good story.
I like the short story format of it. The stories that they do tell are interesting and are nice to experience.
Yeah.
Without saying too much about it.
Okay,
It's like on the level of like Frozen, you know, like on like those Disney, not the
Yeah.
Pixar movies, but the Disney 3D movies,
like Tangled
Mona,
and
Raya and the Last Dragon. Like it has that kind of feel to it
Yeah.
story wise.
Yes, I agree.
And it looks even better than those movies, in my opinion.
Nice. Well, that's basically all I want to play. Like in January, I and Shin Megami Tensei 5. I want to finish or at least play a lot of that.
Yes.
Good luck.
That's all.
Right.
Good luck. Hopefully you're finished by February, but we'll see about that one. All right. Ben, you can go next.
I'm so depressed because
What? Why?
Tell us about it.
have to play
Oh, I know why.
a little game from the early 2000s called Kingdom Hearts.
Yay, which everyone loves.
Huh?
God.
God help.
Oh
me.
shoot! I gotta play that too.
Well,
Fuck.
everyone does.
We all
Yeah,
gotta
let's
play
play
it.
that.
because Next Ben's book club is gonna be Kingdom Hearts, and
forward to
so yeah, we got to get on that, and we better finish it before the tsunami comes for us.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yes.
Oh my
It
God.
it'll be
ain't
a while
happening.
till we have this Kingdom Hearts episode
Yes.
recorded. Aside from that, I would like to play the Forgotten City. Probably gonna play that one with my wife. Alfredo said
Yes.
that it would be a
Please
good one
play
to play with another person. So that'll
I-
be fun.
I would like to see all of us play a game Alfredo recommended. I think that'd be
I
fun.
know.
So
I just-
We're playing
much to
Kingdom
give.
Hearts.
that's
Yeah.
true. That's
right.
true. Oh fuck.
I
We're
feel like
playing
I
this one
could
for Alfredo.
definitely give each one of you personal recommendations of you would like this game, you would like this game. I could do that.
Here's the thing for me. I'm gonna ride that same train of a game Alfredo recommended. Hitman. I'm gonna be playing Hitman.
I didn't
I'm a- I
recommend
join
that
you on
game.
that one.
You kind of
Ben
did because you said
recommended
you were
that
playing
game.
and having a good time, and I was like, you know what?
Okay, I'm gonna
You know,
say
I'm gonna start it.
I
You
don't-
were kind of the last straw where I was like, oh, you having fun with it too? Clams and
but
Ben
the-
put it in their top
How
five.
many
I'm
how many
like,
times do I have to recommend this fucking game, and then
Right.
Alfredo gets the credit? God damn it!
Come on.
Hey,
it was the last voice I heard. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I gotten sidetracked off of the Hitman train. So and I don't know of what I've played so far. I don't know if I can personally recommend it as an Alfredo recommendation yet. It's still too early to tell. But
I'm with
Take
you.
that,
I'm playing that
Thomas.
one too.
Take that.
Got you. I'm very pissed that I bought this game. And
Yeah.
it came to Game Pass. That was a
Same.
punch in the heart.
I think
Oh,
they
it was
watch
pretty
they watch us, and they did it just to spite you. Actually,
Perfectly.
Xbox, like, you dare bought that on PlayStation? What's coming for free on Game Pass?
Do you think you're gonna finish the entire trilogy?
Oh no, hell no.
Oh, okay.
but I think I'm at least going to finish the stories of the trilogy. But obviously,
Okay.
like Ben said, there is
Yeah.
a lot of other things
You could finish the stories of the trilogy in like 10 to 15 hours. It wouldn't take you that long.
What
You
about
do one
just
playthrough of every
3?
mission.
I just want to play 3. Hitman 3.
Do you think you could play 3
Yeah, it doesn't take that long to get through the stories. Like it's about doing it multiple times, like doing the missions multiple times. That's the appeal of it. So yeah, you can get through the story. So yeah, it'd be cool if we all got.
I wouldn't recommend playing it that way though, Cole. I mean, like if you're just trying to cruise through the story, it's not going to be as fun as it would otherwise.
Yeah. I honestly start with one. Do you have one on PlayStation Plus, Cole?
Do you remember we were talking about this other night when we were playing Deep Rock?
You said you bought 3, right?
No, I just had this big confusion.
You thought you bought it.
I got on, and then I couldn't figure out how to start it.
Right.
But apparently, I had I don't even know what it was. A demo. I guess the demo of the Hitman 2 or something. I don't know.
But do you have 1? Because 1 was a PlayStation Plus game. Did you download it?
Yeah, all 3. I have 1, 2, and 3. Yep.
Yeah,
I paid for 3, and I had 1 and 2 from PS Plus.
I would play 3 and start with the missions from 1. I would do because the missions from 1 hold up. Like I was playing, I'm like, I haven't even started the missions for 3 yet. Like I'm playing through 1. I'm like, this is really, really good. So I recommend that if you're going to start it. So yeah, I would recommend if you're going to do that. But I digress. That's what I'm going to be playing before we get into the Hell month or Heaven month, depending on what you do. Cole, what are you going to be playing?
I've been wanting to play this for a long time, but I only will play it if some of y'all will play with me, and it's Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
And I really, really want to do the pirates. Like, there's so much content on it now than when I played it like 2 years ago.
See, I'm afraid. And here's why I'm afraid. It's the same reason why I was afraid of Destiny. Where I log into Destiny, I'm like, you know what? I love Destiny's gameplay. I want to give this a try on my PS5. And I'm playing it, and I'm like, why the fuck do I not understand anything about this right now?
Sea of Thieves is a lot more simple, though. It's a lot more simple than that.
You're just a pirate in Sea of Thieves, right?
But it's like, is there a story to it, like at all?
No, you just
okay.
You just kind of like it's kind of mysterious. Like you have to like look up, like, okay, if you want to start this quest line, you got to sail to this island, and then it kind of like triggers. You go on like a little treasure hunt from XXX. Or you can just go to the little port and you can get like 3 treasure maps, and then you can just start sailing. And then we go find the treasure. Like it's a lot more simple.
We will do that this week. I will download it to my Xbox. And
so if any of y'all are down, we can do 4-man teams.
I am down.
I'm down.
The magic of that game is when you can get a full like 3 or 4 people.
I doubt.
And we got to get back into Deep Rock Creek Deep Rock Galactic.
Okay, yes.
Deep Rock I keep saying Deep Rock Creek.
Isn't you mentioned the other day, and I completely missed you saying this, but I saw it while I was editing for YouTube. I was like, you thought it was a TV show? You're thinking of Craig of the Creek, right?
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Oh shoot!
What is Craig of the Creek?
It's a cartoon on Cartoon Network. It's about a kid who goes in a creek.
Like when we were kids?
Yeah.
No,
not from when we were kids. Like now, right now. I thought you were talking about right now. I was like, you're thinking of a creek show.
I couldn't tell you a single show on Cartoon Network now.
Me either.
Now you can. Craig of the Creek.
Craig of the Creek.
Is it on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network? I actually don't know.
Craig of the Creek.
Yeah.
But so I will say I am just naturally confused.
Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is awesome. I want to play that with you guys. I would like maybe one more night of Deep Rock, but I feel like we don't have time. Like maybe one more night of Deep Rock.
We can't abandon it, Cole. We can't abandon. We can't abandon. This is how it starts.
Speaking of, I did listen to last week's episode and you guys gushing about Deep Rock Galactic. And you guys are late to the party because this game came out like a year ago on early access though for PC.
Hey, it didn't come out.
So Alfredo recommended it. I remember.
Actually, I bought this game and I played it and I wasn't impressed. It was like overwhelmingly positive. Everybody loved this game, and I was like, this is a fun game. I just don't think it's for me.
Deep Rock?
Yeah, Deep Rock.
You should play it with people though.
Access.
You can't play it alone.
With people.
Oh, you did with friends?
Yeah, I played it with friend group, and but I played it early, so it didn't have everything it has now. So I'm definitely gonna hop in it and see if it's a lot more fun. But I was definitely on the not so popular side of saying this game is fine, but I could be wrong. So I'll definitely hop in and see how it is.
So my other ones that I do want to get to is I'd like to play through Demon Souls. I know Thomas, you said you might want to play with me, play that.
It's
and Halo
not working on my PS5. Like it is like I This is the thing with the disc. Like, it's just not downloading for some reason.
You're trying to do Demon Souls and Elden Ring back to back.
I kind of do.
You
I
go
kind of want to,
crazy.
but I feel like I shouldn't.
Masochist.
My last one on my list, Saints and Sinners.
Mm.
And I feel like I'm so glad I didn't play it before I knew Ben. So now that I know Ben, it's going to be so much more fun playing.
Got to get that DLC played as well.
Killer. Yeah, we got to talk about it once.
I think I'll get it as well. I've
finished-
been holding off on it for a long time.
And dude, I
might
can't
pull the
recommend
trigger
Resident
soon.
Evil 4 enough. That was incredible.
I got too scared for Walking Dead. I stopped playing it because I was too scared. I don't know if I'll be able to go back into it.
Is this scary?
I got scared.
No,
is all I'm saying.
I can say that it's not like it's intentionally not a horror game. It's meant to make you very tense, but not like there are no scripted jump scares in the game outside of the first like 10 minutes.
I made it farther than that. I made it like
what was
an hour
the
and a
jump
half
scare?
in.
What's the first jump scare?
It's not really even a jump scare. Like, I mean, it's not set up to be a jump scare, but it's like it's meant to be creepy and catch you off guard a little bit.
What is it? Which one is it?
It's just in the very beginning when you're in the cemetery. There's like you're in the enclosure with the coffins that like you have to push them away, like the drawers.
Oh,
and then a walker walks by right in front of you. Like that's pretty much the only jump scare, and it's really minor. So there are non-scripted things that might spook you, but those are like again, like those aren't intentional things. Those are just gameplay moments.
Look, they told me to go.
Like, it's not a horror game for sure.
I had to go in a creepy haunted house, and it was just too much for me. Okay, I was crawling under the crawl space.
I'm scared. I'm scared of this kind of stuff. I really do get uneasy in VR and games like that.
It's a great game though. I was having a lot of fun, but I'm also a scaredy cat. So
yeah, if you can do Resident Evil, you can do Saints and Sinners, no problem.
Yeah,
fair enough. Alfredo, what are you looking forward to?
So first things first, I will try my best to get through Shin Megami Tensei 5. I am committed to finishing it. I think I'm almost done, but I really have no idea because every time I think that it's gonna end, it does not. But I'm having a lot of fun.
It's very Persona in that way because Persona was the same thing where it's like, are we ending?
But for this one, I'm not like praying that it is actually ending. In Persona, I was like, please let me be done with this game. I'm over it. But this game, I'm like, okay, give me more demons. So that game, and then I also need to try to finish Horizon Zero Dawn again because I did start it. I think I talked about it like 2 weeks ago.
Wasn't somebody talking crap about it like 2 weeks ago? I vaguely remember.
I was saying how certain things didn't hold up exactly, the combat especially.
It's like I vaguely remember the slander.
Like, yeah, it was a little bit of that, but it's still a good game. Well, regardless, I am trying to finish it before the sequel comes out in like a month. So that is my goal. And then I really, because we are playing Kingdom Hearts now, I really have this itch to start playing Kingdom Hearts. Well, I really don't know how much of them, but definitely I want to play Kingdom Hearts 3 again after I finish the original Kingdom Hearts. And I think I definitely need to play a few of the in-betweens as well, because there are a lot of them. So who knows? Definitely going to finish Kingdom Hearts 1 for end of the year, and then maybe even Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Those are my goals. But yeah, should be interesting. Oh, to answer the question, Team Sora versus Team Riku, and we'll discuss this later, but definitely Team Riku.
What?
Oh,
Riku sucks.
Okay, let's not do this here. Not as good as a kid.
Look, hey, that's a sneak peek. Sneak peek. I'm sorry. This is a sneak peek of what's going to happen during this Kingdom Hearts discussion. It's going to be a lot of.
We're going to fight. Probably.
It's going to be a lot of internal debates.
Oh my god! So that was our main topic of the show. That was our main segment.
I feel like that's like we need to reverse that. But hey, we never know what's going to happen with these mailbags. So if you want to mail in a question, feel free. You might get a whole entire topic based on it. Yeah. So.
And real quick, I want to give a shout out to our a new segment, Duke of the Month. I want to give Duke of the Month to Phil Spencer for putting Hitman on Game Pass just to screw with Thomas. Our biggest fan, Phil Spencer, everybody. Our biggest subscriber. Thanks, Phil.
Mentally, I just screamed. Oh man. So well, thank you all for listening and watching the Dukes of Gaming podcast. Again, you can listen to us on your favorite podcast service, watch us on YouTube, leave a like, a review, a comment, anything to help support the show. Like I said, email us at therealdukesofgaming@gmail.com. Have your question read live on there like Matthew did. You know you want to. Please hit the bell as well to get notifications when we release our latest videos on YouTube. Shouts out our Duke of Nostalgia. He has uploaded a bunch of pictures for us, made a bunch of pictures for our videos. So just if you see any, just, they're from him. Make sure you
buy
start
his
to
NFTs.
buy his NFTs.
Please
Absolutely.
do. I don't want them anymore. Take them.
Make him
Give
a
me
millionaire.
money. Give me money, and get nothing in return.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
If you're gonna give something to him, they'll also watch the video.
Yeah,
So start your week right with the Dukes of Gaming, and we'll see you all next week. I bid thee farewell.
Wait, Alfredo, I